selected by Tony Palmer.
Thanks, Peter. They're out on the warm-up lap and waiting for them to come out and form up on the grid. As Peter has said, Aaron Slight, number 111, is the man to watch for in this class. He was our young rider of the year from the television commentary team anyway last year, and has had a fair amount of experience since then, riding several bikes today. Has been in the production races.
And of course Aaron did very, very well to win the Castrol 6-hour race in New Zealand here on the FZ 750 Yamaha.
Also second in the 2-hour race.
Yeah, had a superb battle with Buster Saunders in the 2-hour race, the Australian Buster Saunders. Aaron Slight, an incredibly good competitor, really a man to watch for the future. 10
laps, so it's a sprint. Watch for a good start. A little bit of a false start there, bringing them back into line. Aaron Slight on the inside here, closest to camera. Real rocket ship, this machine that Aaron Slight is on, the TZR 250. Should get some opposition from Alan Ramage, Grant Ramage, Wayne Marshall.
But it's Mike Webb who's in the lead now. Mike Webb on the Men's Warehouse Yamaha. He got in front of Aaron Slight. The Men's Warehouse Yamaha takes the lead, but Aaron Slight right on his tail. Mike Webb, who was third in that 2-hour race. He's in the lead, but it's only a minor advantage now, and Slight tries for the inside line, but still Webb holds on to it. Webb from Aaron Slight.
Aaron Slight, we assume, in the opening couple of laps, being only a 10-lap race, will look for a challenge on Mike Webb. Mike Webb, a rider who's been around on 350s and 250s for some years now, has always been competitive and has always performed well at this circuit. Aaron Slight picks up the inside line and straight into the lead. A little bit of a differential in the performance of some of these machines. The 250R that both Webb and Aaron Slight are riding, very, very fast indeed, and a little hard to be competitive with for the other riders.
And number 103, that's Brian Bernard, a local Wanganui man riding the Paragon Motorcycles TZR 250 in third place. So it's an all Yamaha benefit up at the front at the moment. But just as we speak, Tom Rawlings, number 195, goes past. He's on yet another Yamaha.
250 production racing, an excellent bed for the young riders on the way up to show their talents. Very, very competitive and relatively inexpensive machines, other than those right out in front, for somebody to get a start on to learn the trade.
And Robert Holden, you've just joined us from the circuit. Are conditions good out there?
Yeah, the circuit's fairly grippy at the moment. There's not too much of a problem out there. A few ore spots coming off the bridge and round onto the pit straight, but apart from that, I'm surprised how much grip there is left in the track at this late stage in the day.
And what do you think of this man, Aaron Slight?
Oh, he's riding really hard this weekend. He was riding really good yesterday in the first production race, and he's just been riding right on the limit all weekend. He's going really well. I saw him ride in Australia this year at the Castrol 6-hour. He won the New Zealand Castrol 6-hour, and he put a really great showing in Australia on a very underpowered bike. They had a lot of troubles over there, but he put in a really sterling effort to finish about 6th, I believe.
And would you say it's one of these things that when you're riding the way Aaron is, you're on a roll and you can seem to do no wrong?
Oh yeah, he's on a high. You see some of the things Aaron gets away with. It's incredible, especially on his FZ. He has the thing sideways, full lock up on the foot pegs. He used to be an ex-motocrosser, which I think helps him quite a lot, but he's just really works these bikes hard and seems to be able to get away with all sorts of things on them.
And what's the difference in the way he's riding that 250 to the way he'd be performing on the 750? How is the riding style different?
Well, I think you can be a lot more aggressive on the little 250s. You see, he just throws the thing around, puts it on the side everywhere, and you can ride a lot harder. On the 750s, so much more weight, they're harder to stop, and when they do get sideways, they're a lot harder to control. But little 250s light, and you can just use a little bit of strength to put it back in line.
And would you say is the sort of mid-corner speed more important than on a bigger bike, or?
Yeah, I think on definitely 250s. I've ridden 250s around here. You've got to keep the cornering speed up. I'd say these guys are going around the mid-apex of the corner as quick as most of the Formula 1 bikes. They just lack a little bit of speed when they get out of the corners. But they do have a very high cornering speed, which you have to keep up, because once you're off the pipe on a little 250 production bike, you're no good at all. You're just going backwards.
Very narrow power band.
Yeah, they are very narrow. On the TZR, I would imagine usable power would be something like probably 8,500 through to about 10.5, 11. Probably only 2.5 to 3,000 revs wide.
And just to explain that a little, Robert, when you drop off that, you've virtually got no power at all.
Yeah, when they go over the top of the power band, it's just like hitting a brick wall. They stop dead. And you've got to make sure that you're on the gear lever and just using like a pedal. You just got to keep giving it the gears when it needs it. You miss out by 200 revs and you can lose 10, 15 feet down the straight. You've got to be really precise with the little 250.
Still Tom Rollins in third place behind Mike Webb, holding on to second, keeping Aaron Slide honest, but not close enough to do anything about it at the moment. Aaron Slide has been really fearless in this class.
But it's interesting to see that Aaron's in front and no one seems to be able to catch him, and yet he's also not really getting away. So the others can do similar sort of lap times, but unable to make any advance on Slide at the moment.
It's good to see that they're still like 4 or 5 laps into the race and they still haven't caught up with any back markers, which means that they can get stuck into the racing and do it properly, where they don't have like mobile chicanes to contend with.
Mike Webb in second place, riding a good race here, but obviously frustrated by the sight of Aaron Slide in front and unable to do anything about closing that gap, which is only about 5 or 6 bike lengths, but that's all Aaron Slide needs to defend. Robert, how would you think Mike Webb's feeling there, doing everything he can but unable to make any advance on the man in front?
Well, it's very frustrating actually, because the guy right behind him is making advances on Mike as well. He's trying to get past Mike, and Mike's trying to defend it as well as try and catch Aaron. And he's got probably the worst job of the lot. He's trying to catch Aaron and really going for it. As we just saw there, he just had a bit of a mishap coming around the corner. And while he's doing that, he's also trying to defend himself, because he knows there's a guy going just as hard right behind. We've just come into a bit of traffic now, and you can see Mike's made up a little bit of room, put a lap rider between them. It'll be interesting to see what happens by the time we get out of the S's. Lap riders make a big difference around Wanganui. As we see here, 1 lap rider between the 2 of them. Completely wrecks his line altogether.
So that's really upset Tom Rollins, who was the 3rd place man there, 195. He got a big ball, and Mike Webb in second place, number 90, unable to get away. And,
on 250s, quite often that little gap that he just made then in the back markers is all he needs, and he'll just lose the touch of Mike Webb altogether and slowly drop back now.
Not the kind of bike where you have the horsepower that you can catch somebody up with clear space in front of you. Must be very frustrating. Yeah,
like on the 1100, you just wait for a decent sized straight and hope you can peg a bit of it back. But on the little 250s, like the first 4 bikes are all TZR 250s here, and there's no difference in speed, so you've just got to ride the thing around the corner harder than the guy in front to be able to make any distance on him.
Aaron Slide coming through some more back markers now. Mike Webb, Tom Rollins.
But Rollins seems to have been able to done it wherever he's found that little bit of extra, he's done so. And Mike Webb on the Men's Warehouse Yamaha under increasing pressure from 195 Tom Rollins.
It's actually quite interesting to note that he's catching Mike. I think maybe if he got past him, might be able to make a little bit of a break. Quite often with 250s, if your corner speed is higher and someone's very close in front, you run up behind them and you have to slow down a little bit. When they hit the throttle, you hit the throttle and they pull away. But he's just gone up the inside here under brakes.
And he's done it. No, Mike
Webb's
gets back. Oh, yes, Mike, very, very determined piece of riding. And, of course, Tom Rollins threw everything into that. He made the move, and having been cut off by Mike Webb, lost a little bit of ground, so he's got to work back up again. As we watch 111, that's Aaron Slide quite comfortably out in the lead now. And, in fact, he might have clipped the curb. I wonder if Rollins clipped the curb there.
Yes, he did. He's lost his footrest. You see his footrest hanging down, or his brake arm or gear lever or something. He's caught something on the inside and Webb cut across, and looks like he's lost something off the bike.
So that's ruined his race. Yeah, his footrest was gone.
Yes, it's the gear lever by the look of it. Brake lever.
Yeah, and it's hanging down now. He's out of contention. Just as he tried to dive inside Mike Webb. Mike Webb dived across, as he's entitled to do, holding his own line, and that put Tom Rollins into the curb. But we're on the final lap now, and it's a clear victory, it seems, for Aaron Slide from Mike Webb.
And third place at this stage is going to be 103, Brian Bernard. Aaron Aaron Slight hanging on to it in this last lap, doing it fairly comfortably and pulling away just slightly in the last couple of laps from Mike Webb. Look at that cap now that Aaron Slight has. He can smell that checkered flag. Mike Webb coming round very comfortably, but not in a position to be able to do anything about it. Aaron Slight pulling a wheelie out of the corner. He'll come around to the bridge for the last time and down the start-finish straight to the checkered flag. Flag marshal waiting for him now as he comes over the bridge for the final time. And Aaron Slight down the finish straight to take the checkered flag in the 250 production. Mike Webb behind him in second place, and looking back now for 103.
Just Brian Bernard, I believe.
Just looking at the distance, he is back. Hard luck for Tom Rollins on 195, who rode for so long in that third place trying to get past Mike Webb and clipped a curve. And he's broken the brake lever or the footrest. No, it's a brake lever, I think, isn't it?
The whole assembly seems to have come adrift, and not only did it make the bike very, very hard to ride, but of course it ruined his concentration, and couldn't really do much about that.
Yeah, I think the item in question is actually just about dragging on the ground in most places, so he wouldn't have been able to, you know, keep up any cornering speed at all.
But a great ride from Aaron Slight. He showed us there with that wheelie just how powerful the modern road-going 250 production bike is. Can't stress enough, that's yet another motorcycle you can just walk down to the dealer and purchase, assuming of course they've got one in stock, because there are not that many of them in New Zealand, but a very, very potent racing motorcycle. And watching this 250 production series, it's from such races, the 250 production class, that a lot of the top World Championship class riders have come. Men like Martin Wimmer, who currently rides in the Marlboro Yamaha Grand Prix squad, have all come out of 250 production racing.
Aaron Slight, the winner by a substantial margin over Mike Webb, as you see them come down in the replay to get the checkered flag. That is the result of the race. Aaron Slight, Mike Webb, Brian Bernard, all of them on TZR 250s. Let's go down to Peter Williams now, who has Aaron Slight with him.
Thank you, Tony. Aaron, you seem to have the field in this particular class well and truly in your way.
Oh yeah, it wasn't too bad. The bike's going really good, and this all helps.
You've won every leg of this particular series now. Do you think that you well and truly are the best rider in that class?
Oh, I don't know about that, but everything's going my way at the moment.
You're also a pretty busy rider, because I think as soon as I finish talking to you here, you have to go and line up straight away in Formula 2. Is things a bit tougher there?
Yeah, a lot tougher. I'm just trying out another bike. It's Ginger Moore's bike. We're just having a ride around. It's quite good. And after that, I got the Formula 1 as well.
So even though this is a 250 that you've just ridden, you actually change bikes to go into the Formula 2?
Yeah, onto another 250, but it's a specialised racing bike.
Aaron, what are your plans? Would you like to go to Europe to pick up a ride over there? Do you think you're good enough to break into European racing? Because you've been fairly successful down under, haven't you?
Yeah, I'd love to go, but you know, it's just all a matter of money and time.
How hard is it being based in a place like the Wairarapa?
It's not too bad. I got good backing from Gregory Motorcycles, and you know, they're really into it, so it makes it good.
All right, Aaron, we won't hold you up for too long. You've got to go and change bikes and get back on that dummy grid, so good luck for F2.
Thank you very much.
All right. Aaron Slight, the winner of the 250cc production race here. Now back to Tony Palmer.
Thanks, Peter. Looking at the field for F2, Brent Jones, of course, will be the favourite again on the TZ250S, the latest technology in 250 Grand Prix bikes. Eligible, of course, along with 4 strokes like Bill Cooney is riding up to 600cc. The Moriwaki Kawasaki, Bill Cooney not as competitive this year as he has been in the past. Rob Miller from Australia on a Rotax 250. Fairly torquey, low-end power in these machines. Martin Renfrey of Australia on the GP250 Honda. Another from the 6-man Australian team that has come over here to challenge for Formula 2. One of whom, of course, is expatriate Bruce Woodley. David Moore is another of the Australians on the RS250 Honda. Letter O, look out for him, hasn't been all that competitive thus far. Bruce Woodley back again to racing after a little bit of a break. Feels he's a bit rusty on the bike, but would like to do better in the later race today, certainly on the pace. Simon Turner of New Zealand was the surprise and gave Brent Jones an enormous surprise yesterday. Has been on the pace again today, not quite up with the absolute leaders, but there and certainly capable of challenging.
Simon Turner, just 18 years of age, from Napier, one of the real surprises in yesterday's racing in the Formula 2 preliminary. He really gave Brent Jones a very good run for his money. Earlier today, Tony Palmer spoke to the young man from the Hawke's Bay.
Simon, you're only in your third season of road racing. Were you surprised how well you went yesterday in the F2 race?
Yeah, it came as a bit of a shock to me. I didn't expect to come up behind Brent so soon. You know, I saw him there and I thought, well, here's a go. I'll take him if I can, and it went well. But just lost out at the last moment there on the finish line there, about half a wheel.
You think Brent wasn't aware that he wasn't expecting that you were coming? He was perhaps looking for Bruce Woodley.
Yeah, that's my best thing that happened, really. You know, he wasn't expecting me, so I took it. You know.
Do you like street circuits?
Yeah, well, I was doing motocross before I was doing road racing. It's helped a lot on street circuits. You know, they're pretty cut and thrust around here.
It's helped you in what way? In riding or in the aggressive attitude?
Aggressiveness generally. It's good for these street circuits, but yeah, I think you know, motocross has got to be an advantage.
You got a competitive bike in the Honda. Are you surprised how well it went round here, or does it have better low-end power than the Yamahas?
It's definitely got a lot of low-down power, but Pukekohe, I lost out down the straights, and there my bike hasn't got as much top-end power as the Yamahas, but no, it's good around here for sure.
It's pretty well suited to a street circuit. Pulls out of corners well, does it?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Well, you've just turned 18. What are you hoping to do in road racing?
Well, I sort of want to follow my uncle in his footsteps, and unless I can get a major sponsor or something, it's going to hold me back. You know, as you know, motor racing is not a cheap sport, and unless someone helps me, it's going to be pretty restricting as to how far I can go.
If you get a sponsor, are you interested in moving up to F1?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
What about production racing?
Yeah, I've given that a go last year on 250s. Very competitive, good training ground. But yeah, production bikes, someone comes up with one, I'll ride it for sure.
But would you rather be in a proper racing machine?
Yeah, definitely.
And Formula 1, the horsepower doesn't frighten you?
No, horsepower's good. I like it. Lots of it.
Who do you think's your main opposition today? Brent Jones again?
Oh, definitely, yeah, Brent, yep. And I think the Australian guys will be going faster today.
Do you learn anything from following someone like Brent Jones?
Oh, yeah, that's what I've been doing, trying to do, follow and learn. Yeah.
What about today? If you can get in there and follow him, will you be learning or will you be looking to get past him?
Oh, definitely get past, yep.
Simon Turner, the 18-year-old from Hawke's Bay, just a very young rider, but certainly not lacking in confidence. The earlier leg of Formula 2 today here at Wanganui resulted in a reduced length race because of an accident, and instead of it being the originally scheduled 15 laps, it was stopped after about 13 or 14 laps. Brent Jones was the winner, and Martin Renfrey, the Australian, came up into second place. So those two have developed as the two dominant riders in F2. Brent Jones now having won 2 races. He's got a total of 30 points, and Martin Renfrey with 2 second places has a total of 24 points. The riders just moving out now for their warm-up lap. And we go now to Tony Palmer as he looks at some of these riders for this third and final leg of Formula 2 here at Wanganui.
There is the point situation, Peter. Brent Jones in the lead with 45 points. Martin Renfrey of Australia with 32. Simon Turner with 30. Bruce Woodley with 26. And David Moore with 16. Brent Jones obviously the dominant force. Simon Turner capable of a surprise. Martin Renfrey from Australia getting better with each race and challenging Brent Jones in the earlier one today, getting very, very close to him indeed. David Moore has been sitting back in the 3rd, 4th type places, being very consistent, and we imagine will be quicker when we get down to Ruapuna next week. Bruce Woodley back from Australia. He is, of course, a New Zealander and feeling a little rusty. When I was talking to him this morning, he was saying that the bike is as quick as Brent Jones's, but he's feeling a little rusty and not quite on full. Formula 2 always produces good racing. Off on the warm-up, around to the grid proper now. And just talking to Simon Turner there earlier, and he was saying that he would like to step up to Formula 2, Formula 1, and is a little short of a sponsor. So if there's anybody out there with an enormous checkbook, he's certainly a very worthy recipient. Each year in the motorcycle road racing series that we cover, we see some young talent coming through, and it's excellent to see that the old fellas don't just cruise around and take it too comfortably when they get the experience. Simon Turner is one of the best young men in terms of talent we've seen in a long time. Like Aaron Slate last year, who's established himself this year, Simon Turner's one to look to. Another, of course, is Simon Craper, who's been doing exceptionally well on a production 750.
And I think that in this race we could see the Australians doing even better than they have in the past. Wanganui is a circuit that requires quite a lot of warming to, and these guys have not ridden here before, and I think that Martin Renfrey particularly could be giving Brent Jones a hard time in this last race.
Quite surprising, Peter, how close he got to Brent Jones, and Jones looked as if he was under some pressure. Leg 3, waiting for the start. 15 laps, as was the first race, which got shortened because of an incident. Martin Renfrey in the picture there, letter F. David Moore, letter O. And Brent Jones, closest to us, number 1. Brent Jones with a wealth of international experience, certainly the man to beat. Look for that sprint down to the first corner. A good start from Jones, a good one from Renfrey. It'll be those two first into the corner.
Yes, and Woodley round the outside, a really determined piece of riding from Woodley. Puts him alongside Renfrey and up now into second place behind Brent Jones.
Certainly we expected that Woodley would improve as the day went on, having been out of racing for a little while with other commitments. Brent Jones in the lead though very quickly. Woodley behind him, Renfrey in third place.
And Hamish McNichol up into fourth place, it looked to me, and McNichol showing the best form we've seen from him so far in these 2 days. McNichol, fourth place, letter L.
Quite a contingent of Australians there. Bruce Woodley now hailing from Australia, although he is a New Zealander. Martin Renfrey, David Moore, and Hamish McNichol.
They've actually all put a little gap on Simon Turner, and I think unless he gets on the back of this group pretty shortly, they might just start to pull away and leave him behind.
Still Jones that leads from Woodley, then F, Martin Renfrey and Hamish McNichol. That's the leading four. That's a Yamaha leading another Yamaha with a Honda slotted into third place and a Yamaha in fourth.
I think Brent Jones is going to be kept honest once again. Martin Renfrey will be looking to get past Bruce Woodley in second place there so that he can put a challenge on Brent Jones, particularly after the earlier race today when he saw that Jones wasn't quite invincible. But Woodley's holding him out at the moment. Hamish McNichol behind him, and then a little gap back to Simon Turner.
And Robert, you can pick out some similarity in the lines here with those that Richard Scott is using on the 500 bike, because of course these are Grand Prix bikes and they have to use similar wide lines, don't they?
Yes, all the Grand Prix bikes have to use wide sweeping lines so they can keep the bikes in the power band. They can get a nice sweeping motion into the corner. A lot of these little 250s, the power band's very narrow. I think we've just lost letter L somewhere on the line.
Yes, McNichol has disappeared just out of camera shot. McNichol, oh, he's actually just dropped back, so he's had a bit of a problem and dropped back into a more distant fourth spot.
Just caught a glimpse of him in the back of the picture there with a bit of a tail slide. Brent Jones starting to pull away just a little now from Bruce Woodley. Renfrey stuck behind Woodley, unable to make enough of an impression because he's got to get past him first. Simon Taylor making up some ground. David Moore behind him. Little wobble there from Brent Jones, but not a problem.
And Renfrey's through into second place. You could see in the corner of the picture we had earlier that Renfrey was almost out of control. The back end weaving wildly as he got past Woodley, but it was a successful manoeuvre.
Certainly a very determined rider, Martin Renfrey.
Yes, I think we should see him catch up with Brent Jones now and put as much pressure on Brent as he did in the first race. He actually looks a lot smoother at the moment than Brent does. Brent seems to be picking a few of the wrong lines where the bumps are, particularly at the end of the start-finish straight. In the last lap, he had a few front-end slides just trying to make the machine stop.
I actually wondered, Robert, about Brent Jones in the earlier Formula 2 race when he looked really quite untidy compared to the way he normally rides.
Yeah, Brent never puts a foot wrong, just does everything right. But as you see here, he's got a fairly wide line over the bumps. He's braking fairly erratically. Maybe he's just under a bit more pressure than he's normally used to.
Accustomed, certainly, to being unchallenged out on the lead there. He knows very well that Martin Renfrey is determined to get close to him and to get by him. And Renfrey thinks that he was sold a little short in the earlier Formula 2 race, which was stopped 2 laps short because of an accident.
Yeah, I believe watching the last race that Renfrey would have made a really demon manoeuvre on the last lap and could have actually pinned Brent for the win, but he never got the chance because of the red flag that came out, which was a bit unfortunate because he put a really good ride in the whole race, and it would have been good to see him really...
Fourth to come round now. Hamish McNichol and Simon Taylor right on his... Simon Turner, sorry. Right on his tail. A good dice going on between those two. But once again, Turner needing to get past Hamish McNichol if he's to get anywhere close to the leaders, because a big gap being built up by the leaders now over these positions. There's Woodley starting to ride a little harder now, and look, the gap is really quite substantial between third and fourth. Turner trying harder as the day goes on. Getting closer to McNichol. That's fourth and fifth places. Coming around and over the bridge. They're at least the length of the front straight behind the front group.
Hamish McNichol on letter L is actually on the same model and the same bike as Brent Jones, is a TZ250S Delta box. Obviously Brent's riding a little bit harder than Hamish, but it's surprising to see him not up a little bit further, because I think they have got a better style of power for this type of circuit.
The last time Robert and I saw Hamish McNichol was when he was crashing a TZ750, wasn't it, Robert?
Yes, he went off the end of the start and finish straight at Oran Park at about 220 kilometres an hour with no brakes, and I was actually surprised to see him out here. Last time I saw him, he had a broken collarbone and was going nowhere.
Now Brent Jones has pulled a bit bigger lead now, starting to pull away from Renfrey. I wonder if BJ has just got on the gas a bit more to apply some pressure rather than allowing Renfrey to apply the pressure on him. He really is riding hard now, Brent Jones. There's Renfrey and Woodley, and that gap between first and third has stayed about the same, with Renfrey floating between the two. 8 of the 15 laps remain, and Brent Jones looking to be in control of the race. Renfrey nowhere near close enough to challenge at this stage. Woodley third and a good gap back. And there's 4 and 5, McNichol and Turner.
What do you think, Robert? Do you think Brent has just found a little bit of that lost smoothness?
Yeah, I think Brent's ridden at Wanganui a lot. He's just done a couple of races already on the Formula 1 bike. I think it's given him a chance to settle himself down, and maybe when he got under a bit of pressure in the early races, he started to get a bit ragged, but I think Brent's fairly controlled in what he does. I think he just settled himself down, realises that he is faster than the guys behind him, and if he just uses his head, he can just slowly pull away. And I think maybe in the first races he expected to pull a big gap early. It didn't eventuate, and so this time he settled himself down just to pull a little bit each time, and as he's proved now, he just slowly pulled away, and he looks a lot smoother in the last laps now than he has done all day, basically.
I just wonder if it was concentration, because the ragged edge is really gone, isn't it?
Yes, I think maybe this is one of the first time Brent's actually ridden 2 bikes at a meeting like Wanganui. He's got a monster of a TZ750 he's riding, and then he's got the little 250. Just 2 completely different ends of the scale, and I think Brent's probably gets off the 750 and finds the 250 a little bit of a handful and starts getting things wrong.
Renfrey trying harder now and is pulled away from Bruce Woodley in 3rd place. But he's coming on a back marker right into that corner, goes past. But he must be feeling now as though it's a harder task than he had at first thought to catch Brent Jones.
Yes, you've still got to remember this is Renfrey's first time at Wanganui, and I think he's putting in a really, really good effort, because Wanganui is not the easiest track to learn. Brent's probably ridden around here almost as many times as I have. I think it's about 9 or 10 years now, and he's putting in a really good effort for the 2 days he's been riding here. I think you get the guy back next year and he'll have a totally different approach to it, and will probably go faster.
And now Woodley is now being chased by number 46, Simon Turner, who's got past Hamish McNichol. So Turner putting on a real burst of speed, got past McNichol, who's perhaps suffering a bit because of that only recently healed broken collarbone. Turner really riding determinedly there, number 46, with letter W, Bruce Woodley in his sights.
Yes, Simon Turner has really got Bruce Woodley right in his sights now. That seems to have given him the incentive, having got past McNichol, which was slowing him down somewhat. He's really going for it on the chase now, Bruce Woodley.
And of course, Woodley has the disadvantage. He's seen the man he was chasing get completely clear, and that's pretty discouraging. And he's probably dropped off his pace a little bit, and that's all Turner needs. Turner now rounding up somebody in the middle of the SS, can't quite do it. Tried to go one side, then the other. Got balked by the back marker there.
Simon Turner's a very enthusiastic little rider. When I was in Australia, we picked up this bike for Simon. His brother works in Australia at the same shop I was riding for. We sent the bike over. It really needs some of the later model parts on it. It's the first model RS250 that was produced, and it is quite a bit slower than the two other RS250s that are in the race. And I think if Simon got the right parts for the bike, he could go a lot faster than he does. But he's riding on second-hand tyres. He hasn't really got the money to, to get the new slicks for every race like the other guys. And I think for the amount of riding he's done on one of these bikes, he's putting in a really, really good effort.
I think it's a superb effort.
And in one lap, he's closed about 10 or 15 metres on Bruce Woodley, and I wonder if Bruce knows that he's there. Bruce, previously more worried about the man in front, now can forget the man in front and should be concerned that number 46 is right on his tail.
I think we'll see that braking manoeuvre here. Here we go. Yep, he's up the inside. Terrific manoeuvre there. It's a really nice place to pass up the inside going into the Rose Garden.
That's sheer rider ability, because the bike that Simon Turner is on is not as quick as Bruce Woodley's potentially. And having got past Woodley now, he's got the long task in front of him of trying to catch those front two.
And he's not only got past Woodley, but he's put a tail ender between them, and that's given him a bit of a break. So Simon Turner getting away from Woodley now, really. There we watch Brent Jones, the leader, catching actually number 91 Mike Webb, who's riding that 250 production bike in the Formula 2 race. Now dropping back to see the next man along is still Martin Renfrey in second place.
Turner's catching Renfrey, but he's running out of space in terms of this race. Woodley has taken a bit of incentive from the fact that Turner passed him and is chasing hard on Turner's tail. Probably what Bruce Woodley needed at that stage of the race, having seen the Australian biker Martin Renfrey and Brent Jones sort of run away a bit in the lead. But Turner's got an enormous task on his hands to try and catch Renfrey, let alone Brent Jones. And it would be unrealistic to expect that he could catch Brent Jones, because the bike is just not that competitive. Just look at how hard he's riding though. Number 46, Simon Turner. Just turned 18, relatively inexperienced. Started riding motocross when he was 15 and has only been riding in road racing. This is his third season. I think he's got a big future for a man of 18. Going back to the race leader, number 1, Brent Jones. That's Brent Jones going through down the start-finish straight to get the white flag. 1 lap to go for Brent Jones, with a big margin now over Martin Renfrey, and Renfrey with an equally big one over Simon Turner.
And we saw in the back of the picture Bruce Woodley drop back and actually coming under pressure from Hamish McNichol. So as we watch Jones leading from Renfrey with Simon Turner in a secure 3rd place, maybe Woodley's going to lose out his 4th place to the Australian McNichol. But Jones well on his way to a convincing victory.
This is far more like the convincing style, the dominating style that we've come to expect from Brent Jones, BJ as he's known. Certainly very experienced, a world-class rider in terms of his natural talent, with the best of machinery under him, and he's using it to maximum advantage. Coming around and over the bridge for the last time, this is the most comfortable victory we've seen in any of the races here at Wanganui. For Brent Jones in Formula 2 taking the checkered flag, Martin Renfrey of Australia coming down to take 2nd place.
And Hamish McNichol, as Simon Turner crosses the place 3rd, Hamish McNichol has beaten Bruce Woodley into 4th place.
So a good battle between 3rd and 4th, right down to the line. A comfortable win for Brent Jones. 2nd place to Martin Renfrey of Australia, and 3rd place to the young upcoming star Simon Turner. Look at the style of Brent Jones. We had commented earlier in the day that he looked a little ragged in some of the corners here, but when he got the concentration right and got to grips with this race and the circuit, and the latter half of this Formula 2 race, he really was quite dominant. He looked smooth, he looked back to his old best again. Lovely lines. And really didn't look as though he could put a foot wrong, Peter. Interesting that earlier in the day he looked almost as though he was waiting, you know, an accident waiting for somewhere to happen.
Yes, as you say, he certainly got that style back, lifting the front wheel there. Knee flicks out as the and the right wrist flicks as he changes down through the gears once here, then gets on the power. Back end hanging out slightly, has time to look over his shoulder, make sure that there's no one there to surprise him before getting down behind the fairing very briefly before sitting up again and braking, sweeping into the left-handed overhead bridge. Very, very smooth piece of riding from Brent Jones.
That's the Brent Jones we've come to know and love. Excellent ride and a comfortable win. That's certainly what people were expecting before we came to the Formula 2 races, but we've had a couple of surprises along the way. Back to Peter Williams.
And Brent Jones is with me now. Brent, that race, that win, a lot more comfortable than what happened in the first of the F2 races this afternoon, the one that was stopped.
Yes, well, the last one was a bit too close for comfort, so I really tried hard and tried to get that break, and it worked out really well.
And there was really no threat from Renfrey at all throughout the race.
Well, I didn't look behind, I just went. You know, sort of got down to 51s, mid 51s, so I was really happy with that. It's sort of like Formula 1 time, so it was really good.
Well, now 3 wins from 3 races in F2. You've still got an F1 race to go. You move up from the 250 to the 750. Do you think you're going to be able to put it with the big boys in there?
Well, we'll give it a shot. I got a really bad start in the last heat, and the shock absorber went on us after about 6-7 laps, which is the same as what happened yesterday, and we've had to rebuild it twice now. So we just got to hope that it lasts the distance. It just doesn't like doing 51s.
All right, Brent Jones, congratulations on your F2 success. We'll see you at Ruapuna in F2 and continue that success in your home patch.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Brent. And now to Simon Turner, this young star from Hawke's Bay. Simon, if you don't mind me saying so, your gear perhaps isn't as good as some of these full-time professionals. Are you looking for a bit of money to come into your sponsorship arrangement now to get you set?
Yeah, well, definitely got to have money to race properly. But I hope someone will come to the party after today.
But you'd be delighted with the way that you have raced, getting up into 3rd place on a bike that obviously is not as competitive as some of the other races, Jones's in particular.
Yeah, well, that's all the more incentive to go faster, show people you can do it on a not so good bike. Yeah.
All right, Simon, good luck. We've been most impressed by your performances here. Are you going down to Ruapuna as well?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, we'll see you down there. Hope you continue your success down there.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Okay.
18-year-old Simon Turner, one of the up-and-coming stars of F2 racing in this country. Let's now go back to Tony Palmer to confirm the result of the 3rd leg of Formula 2 here at Wanganui.
That is